The signal. High Admiral Xena Telvac stood at the observation deck of the Galactic Council's Central Archive Station, her 4 eyes fixed on the holographic display before her. The massive database contained records of every known civilization's technological progression, carefully documented over millennia. But something wasn't adding up. "Play it again," she commanded, her scaled fingers tapping impatiently on the control panel. The signal, if it could even be called that, flickered to life once more. It had been detected 3 cycles ago, emanating from the Sol system's 3rd planet, and it defied every analysis protocol they had. High Admiral, her chief scientist, Ren Mo, approached cautiously. The Artaxian's crystalline form caught the starlight, sending rainbow refractions across the deck. "We've completed the 14th analysis pass." And Xena didn't turn from the display. "It's impossible." Ren's crystalline structure pulsed with anxiety. "The signal appears to be coming from within the planet's core itself. The energy signature matches nothing in our archives, but its complexity suggests technological advancement far beyond even the precursor civilizations." Xena finally turned, all 4 eyes narrowing. "That's impossible. The humans are barely past their industrial age. They haven't even established stable colonies beyond their moon." "With respect, High Admiral," Ren's voice took on an urgent tone. "That's what makes this so disturbing. We've been monitoring Earth for centuries. Their technological progression follows a completely natural curve. But this signal, it's as if someone activated something that's been there all along." The implication sent a chill through Xena's thermal regulation system. The Galactic Council had classified Earth as a developing world, primitive but promising. They'd watched the humans stumble through their early space exploration, amused by their determination despite their technological limitations. The Council had even debated making first contact within the next century, once the humans had achieved basic interplanetary travel. But this changed everything. "Show me the temporal analysis," Xena commanded. The holographic display shifted, showing a complex wavelength pattern. "These markers, they're not degraded at all." "Exactly," Ren confirmed. "Whatever's generating this signal, it's not ancient technology that's been buried and degraded. It's been actively maintained. The power source is as fresh as if it were installed yesterday." Xena's mind raced through the implications. The Council's entire understanding of human civilization was based on careful observation over centuries. They'd documented every major technological breakthrough, every war, every cultural shift. The humans were supposed to be predictable, following the same development pattern as countless other species. "Get me a secure link to the Council," she ordered, her voice tight with tension, "and prepare the unveiling protocol." Ren's crystalline form pulsed with alarm. "High Admiral, the unveiling protocol hasn't been used in over 10,000 cycles. It would mean acknowledging that we've completely misunderstood something fundamental about Earth," Xena finished. "And I want to know why." As the secure link was established, Xena reviewed what they knew. The signal had first been detected when it caused a cascade of unusual readings across their monitoring network. At first, they'd assumed it was a glitch, but the pattern was too precise, too structured. It carried hallmarks of technological sophistication that should have been impossible for human civilization to achieve. The Council chamber materialized in holographic form before her, the representatives of the galaxy's most powerful civilizations appearing one by one. Their expressions ranged from concerned to skeptical. "High Admiral Telvac," First Speaker Dorn's gravelly voice filled the chamber. "You've invoked the unveiling protocol. Explain." Xena took a deep breath. "Honorable Council, 3 cycles ago, we detected a signal emanating from Earth's core. Initial analysis suggested advanced technology far beyond human capabilities. Further investigation has confirmed that this technology has been actively maintained, possibly for millennia, without our knowledge." The chamber erupted in murmurs and exclamations. Second Speaker Vrel, their chitinous form gleaming, leaned forward. "Are you suggesting the humans have been deceiving us?" No, Xena replied firmly. I'm suggesting something far more concerning. The humans themselves may be unaware of what lies beneath their feet. We're detecting energy signatures that predate our earliest records. Whatever this is, it's been there longer than our civilization has been monitoring Earth. The council chamber fell silent. The implications were staggering. Either their entire understanding of human technological progression was wrong, or something far more ancient and powerful had been hiding on Earth, right under their sensors. Your recommendation? First Speaker Dorn asked, though his tone suggested he already knew the answer. We need to send an investigation team, Xena stated. Not observers, not monitors, but a full archaeological and scientific expedition. Whatever this signal is, it's active now, and it's getting stronger. We need to understand what we're dealing with before. She was interrupted by a sudden surge in the holographic display. The signal pattern had changed, becoming more complex, more urgent. New energy signatures were appearing all across the planet. High Admiral. Ren's voice was filled with alarm. We're detecting similar signals activating at points all around Earth's crust. They're connecting to each other. Xena turned back to the council, her voice grave. We don't have time for debate. Something is awakening on Earth, something that's been dormant for millennia. And I don't think it's going to wait for our approval to make itself known. The council chamber erupted in chaos, but Xena's attention was fixed on the holographic display. Across Earth's surface, ancient systems were coming online, forming a network of power that defied their understanding. The humans had been classified as a young, developing species, but what if they were wrong? What if Earth's primitive appearance had been carefully crafted, a facade hiding something far more significant? As she watched the signal patterns multiply and interweave, Xena couldn't shake the feeling that they weren't discovering something new. They were witnessing something ancient finally choosing to reveal itself, and the galaxy would never be the same. The excavation. The descent through Earth's atmosphere was eerily quiet. Captain Mira Sen of the Galactic Archaeological Corps watched through the shuttle's view screen as clouds parted around their cloaked vessel. Her team had been dispatched within hours of High Admiral Telvac's emergency session with the Council, making them the first official expedition to Earth's surface in over 3 centuries. Energy readings are getting stronger, reported Dr. Kaz, their lead scientist. The Volari's bioluminescent patches pulsed with excitement as he studied the readings. The signal network is most concentrated at these coordinates, a region the humans call Bayan Olgi in Mongolia. Mira nodded, her metallic exoskeleton adjusting to the planet's gravity. What's the local population density? Minimal, Kaz replied. The humans have largely left this area undeveloped. Though, he paused, his bioluminescence flickering, there are unusual gaps in their geological surveys of the region, as if something was deliberately steering them away. The shuttle touched down in a remote valley, surrounded by ancient mountains. As the team disembarked, Mira was struck by the pristine beauty of the landscape. It seemed impossible that something of immense technological power could be hidden here. Setting up the containment field, announced Security Chief Ven, his robotic components whirring as he deployed their stealth equipment. We'll have about 6 hours before human satellites pass overhead. Mira activated her scanning equipment, calibrated to detect the unique energy signature they'd observed from orbit. The readings were immediate and overwhelming. It's here, she breathed, right beneath us. The team worked quickly, using advanced molecular disassemblers to clear away layers of soil and rock without leaving evidence of excavation. 3 hours into their dig, Dr. Kaz called out, "Captain, we found something." Mira rushed to his position. The disassemblers had revealed a surface unlike anything she'd ever seen. It was perfectly smooth, with a faint iridescent sheen that seemed to shift colors as they watched. But what caught her attention was the writing etched into its surface. "Those symbols," she whispered. "They're impossible," Kaz finished. "They're fragments of every major written language in the galaxy. Some of these scripts predate our oldest records. They shouldn't all be here together. Security Chief Venn stepped forward, his sensors scanning the surface. It's not just a wall. This is a door, and it's still active. As if responding to his words, the symbols began to glow. Lines of light spread outward from where they stood, revealing the true scale of what they'd uncovered. It wasn't just a door, it was the entrance to a vast complex, perfectly preserved beneath the mountains. Cross-reference these readings with the other signal locations, Mira ordered. Are we seeing similar structures? Kaz worked his equipment quickly. Yes. And no. There are facilities of similar size all around the planet, but this one appears to be different. It's older, much older. The door began to hum, a deep resonance that they felt in their bones. Symbols shifted and rearranged themselves, forming new patterns. It's a security system, Venn announced, his cybernetic systems interfacing with the ancient technology. But it's not trying to keep us out. It's scanning us. Mira felt a tingling sensation as invisible energy washed over them. The door's surface rippled like liquid metal, and a voice spoke, not in sound, but directly into their minds. Genetic profile analyzed. Non-human entities detected. Access protocols initiated. The team exchanged nervous glances. This technology was far beyond anything in their experience, yet it recognized them, understood them. Captain, Kaz's voice was tight with tension. These energy readings, they're identical to patterns we've detected in human DNA. The same patterns we could never explain, that we assumed were random mutations. The implications hit Mira like a physical blow. You're saying this facility, this technology, it's connected to the humans themselves. Before Kaz could respond, the door began to open. The mountain itself seemed to shift as ancient mechanisms activated, revealing a corridor that stretched deep into the earth. The walls were lined with the same iridescent material, pulsing with power that had laid dormant for millennia. New signal detected, Venn reported suddenly. It's broadcasting. Everywhere, to every similar facility on the planet. Mira made her decision. Send word to High Admiral Telvac. Tell her we found it. And she hesitated, watching as more symbols began to activate along the corridor walls. Tell her we were wrong. About everything. As they stepped into the facility, the ancient systems continued to awaken. Each step revealed new wonders, new impossibilities. The humans hadn't built this place, but it had been built for them, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. Look at this, Kaz called out, studying the massive holographic display that had activated. These aren't just records. They're instructions, a message left behind by whoever built this place. The message began to play, showing images that defied belief. They saw stars being born, civilizations rising and falling, and through it all, a single species guiding, watching, waiting. A species that looked eerily familiar. That's not possible, Venn whispered, his cybernetic eye whirring as it tried to process what they were seeing. But it was possible. The evidence was all around them. The humans weren't just another young species stumbling toward the stars. They were something else entirely, something that had been carefully hidden, protected, and preserved. As the message continued to play, Mira realized they weren't making a discovery. They were witnessing the beginning of an awakening. And somewhere above them, billions of humans were going about their daily lives, completely unaware that their true nature was about to be revealed to the galaxy. The awakening. Dr. Sarah Chen stared at her laboratory monitors in disbelief. Something was happening to her test subjects, something that defied every principle of genetics she ever studied. It had started 3 days ago, coinciding with reports of unusual seismic activity worldwide. Run the sequence analysis again, she ordered her eye assistant. The holographic display flickered, showing strands of DNA that seemed to be evolving in real time. Her phone buzzed. Another call from the CDC. She ignored it. They'd been hounding her ever since she reported the anomalies, but she knew they wouldn't understand. This wasn't a disease or a mutation. This was something else entirely. In orbit, High Admiral Telvac received Captain Sen's latest report with growing concern. How many humans have shown signs of activation? Thousands, Mira's holographic form replied. Concentrated around major population centers. The process appears to be accelerating. Whatever was dormant in their genetic code is waking up, and it's spreading like a cascade reaction. The first public incident occurred in Singapore. A young student, caught in a traffic accident, should have died from his injuries. Instead, witnesses reported seeing his body heal itself in seconds, wounds closing before their eyes. Video of the event went viral before government agencies could contain it. Similar reports began flooding in from around the globe. Humans displaying abilities that should have been impossible. Regeneration, enhanced strength, telepathic communication. The facade of normalcy that had contained humanity for millennia was cracking. In the ancient facility beneath Mongolia's mountains, Dr. Kaz worked frantically to decode more of the message left behind. "Captain," he called to Mira, "you need to see this." The holographic display showed a vast star map, but unlike anything in their records. It showed the galaxy as it had been millions of years ago, with Earth at its center. And spreading out from Earth were lines of influence, connection, and power that spanned the entire spiral arm. They weren't just another species, Kaz explained, his bioluminescence pulsing with excitement. They were the first, the ones who seeded the galaxy with life, who guided the evolution of countless species, including ours. Mira felt a chill run down her spine. But why hide? Why suppress their own power and live as a primitive species? The answer came from deeper within the facility, where Security Chief Ven had discovered what appeared to be a control room. Ancient displays flickered to life, responding to their presence. It was a choice, Ven reported, his cybernetic systems interfacing with the ancient technology. They saw what their power was doing to the galaxy. The younger races couldn't develop naturally in their shadow, so they made a decision. The displays showed scenes of an ancient council, beings of pure energy and unfathomable power choosing to bind themselves to physical form. To sleep, to forget, to let the galaxy grow without their overwhelming influence. But they hadn't just gone to sleep. They'd left behind guardians, watchers, and failsafes. The facilities they'd discovered weren't just archives. They were incubators, waiting for the right moment to reawaken humanity's true nature. On Earth, Dr. Chen watched as her test subjects continued to change. The dormant sections of human DNA that scientists had labeled as junk were activating, revealing themselves as compressed data, stored protocols, and genetic memories of a civilization that had once spanned the stars. Dr. Chen, her AI assistant, interrupted. "You have visitors." She turned to find several figures in her laboratory doorway. But they weren't human. Leading them was a tall, four-eyed being she'd never seen before. "Dr. Sarah Chen," High Admiral Telvac said, "we need your help. You're one of the first to recognize what's happening to your species, and we don't have much time." Sarah looked at her monitors, then back at the aliens. "You know what's causing this?" "Yes," Telvac replied. "We've discovered the truth about humanity's origin. The question now is, can your species handle the awakening of power it deliberately chose to forget?" Around the world, more humans were discovering abilities they couldn't explain. The internet was flooded with videos of impossible events. Governments scrambled to maintain order as panic spread. But beneath the chaos, beneath the fear and confusion, something else was stirring. Genetic memories, locked away for millions of years, were beginning to surface. Humans around the globe reported strange dreams. Dreams of stars and distant worlds, of power beyond imagination, and of a choice made long ago to step back and let the galaxy grow on its own. In the Mongolia facility, Mira and her team watched as more systems activated. The message they'd discovered wasn't just a historical record. It was a warning, a guide, and a choice. Humanity had locked away its power once before, for the good of all life in the galaxy. Now that power was returning, and the galaxy would never be the same. The question wasn't whether humanity would awaken to its true nature, but whether they would make the same choice their ancestors had, to use that power wisely, to guide rather than dominate, to protect rather than control. The awakening had begun, and there was no turning back. The revelation. The United Nations Security Council chamber was silent as Dr. Sarah Chen finished her presentation. On the screens behind her, genetic data scrolled endlessly, proof of what humanity had once been and what they were becoming again. The changes aren't random mutations, she explained, her voice steady despite the gravity of her words. They're activated sequences that were always there, dormant in our DNA. We're not evolving. We're remembering. Beside her stood High Admiral Telvac, her alien presence a stark reminder of how much had changed in the past week. The world had watched in shock as ships from the Galactic Council appeared over major cities, dropping their cloaks in a display that could no longer be hidden. Your ancestors, Telvac addressed the assembled leaders, were the most advanced species this galaxy has ever known. They didn't just explore the stars, they shaped them. They seeded worlds with life, guided evolution, and protected emerging civilizations. The chamber erupted in murmurs as holographic displays showed evidence from the facility in Mongolia and others like it around the world. Ancient structures, hidden beneath the Earth's surface, were awakening after millions of years of dormancy. But why? Demanded the Chinese representative. Why would such an advanced species choose to forget itself? The answer came from Captain Mira Sen, her holographic form projected from the Mongolia facility. Because they saw what their power was doing to the galaxy. Younger species couldn't develop naturally in their shadow. Every civilization looked to them for guidance, for protection, for answers. The galaxy was becoming dependent on them. The displays showed new images, scenes reconstructed from the genetic memories now surfacing in humans worldwide. They saw their ancestors, beings of almost godlike power, making the conscious choice to step back. They didn't just hide their power, Mira continued. They transformed themselves, became physical beings, chose to experience life as a young species would. They locked away their knowledge and abilities, leaving only the fail-safes we're now discovering. Dr. Chen took over, pointing to new data streams. The abilities we're seeing now, rapid healing, enhanced cognition, manipulation of energy, these are just the beginning. As more genetic memories surface, humans are remembering not just how to use these powers, but why we chose to forget them. Reports were coming in from around the globe. A teenager in Brazil who could see the quantum structure of reality. A grandmother in Kenya who could communicate telepathically across continents. A fisherman in Japan who could sense the movements of oceanic currents halfway around the world. But with these abilities came the memories, the weight of responsibility that had led their ancestors to make their momentous choice. Many who awakened to their full potential found themselves overwhelmed not by the power, but by the understanding of what that power meant. The question now, Telvac addressed the council, is what humanity will choose to do with this knowledge. Your ancestors made their choice for the good of all life in the galaxy. Now, millions of years later, you faced the same choice. The Security Council chamber was silent as the implications sank in. Humanity wasn't just discovering its heritage, it was being asked to decide the future of galactic civilization. In the Mongolia facility, more systems were coming online, revealing the full scope of what humanity had once been. The facility wasn't just an archive. It was a seed, planted by their ancestors, waiting for the right moment to bloom. We're detecting similar activations at all known sites, Mira reported. The network is complete. Whatever failsafe your ancestors left behind, it's fully operational now. Dr. Chen stepped forward again, her own genetic memories becoming clearer with each passing hour. Our ancestors left us a choice. The facilities aren't just awakening our abilities, they're offering us the opportunity to choose our path forward. The displays showed new data, the full capabilities of the ancient network, It could restore humanity to its former power instantly, or it could maintain the gradual awakening, allowing them to remember their responsibilities along with their abilities. The galaxy has grown in our absence, she continued. New species have emerged, new civilizations have flourished. We have to decide. Do we reclaim our role as guardians, or do we find a new way forward? Around the world, as more humans awakened to their true nature, the same question echoed in their recovering memories. They had been the first, the shapers of stars, the guardians of life itself. But they had also been wise enough to know when to step back, to let life find its own path. Now, as the truth of their heritage spread across the earth, humanity faced its greatest test. Not of power, they had power beyond imagination, but of wisdom. Could they, like their ancestors before them, choose to use that power not for dominance, but for the greater good of all life in the galaxy? The revelation of humanity's true nature was complete. The choice of what to do with that revelation was just beginning. The resurgence. 1 year after the revelation of humanity's true nature, the galaxy watched and waited. The great ships of the Galactic Council remained in orbit around Earth, not as observers anymore, but as witnesses to something unprecedented. A species choosing its own evolution. In the heart of the Mongolia facility, Dr. Sarah Chen stood before the ancient control interface, its surfaces now familiar to her awakened memories. High Admiral Telvac stood beside her, watching as humans and aliens worked together to understand the legacy left behind by humanity's ancestors. The last activation sequence is ready, Sarah announced, her voice carrying the weight of months of preparation. Once initiated, every human will have access to their full genetic memory. Telvac's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. And you're certain of your choice. The gradual awakening rather than the immediate restoration. Sarah nodded. The decision hadn't been easy, but it had been nearly unanimous among those who had already awakened. We remember why our ancestors chose to sleep. Rushing back to full power would repeat their mistakes. Around the world, humanity had been transforming, not through sudden bursts of power, but through careful, guided awakening. The ancient facilities had become centers of learning, where humans could safely access their genetic memories and understand their heritage. Captain Mira Sen, now Earth's primary liaison with the Galactic Council, brought up a holographic display of the galaxy. The balance has shifted, she observed. Other species are no longer looking to humanity with fear, but with curiosity. The display showed the changes of the past year. Humanity had indeed begun to reclaim its ancient knowledge, but not as conquerors or gods. Instead, they had chosen to become teachers, guides, and partners to the galaxy's younger civilizations. Initialize the final sequence, Sarah commanded. The facility hummed with power as signals raced through the global network. In cities, towns, and villages across Earth, humans felt the gentle touch of awakening memories. But these weren't memories of power and dominion. They were memories of responsibility, of stewardship, of the delicate balance required to nurture life across the stars. The ancient humans had been powerful, yes, but their greatest strength had been their wisdom in knowing when to step back. In orbit, the Galactic Council's observation fleet recorded an extraordinary sight. The Earth itself seemed to glow as the ancient network fully activated, not with the harsh light of power unleashed, but with the soft radiance of potential carefully realized. It's different this time, Telvac observed. Your ancestors withdrew completely, but you've chosen a middle path. Sarah smiled, watching as the activation spread across the globe. We remembered their wisdom, but we also learned from their choice. Complete withdrawal left the galaxy without guidance. Complete dominance stifled growth. There had to be another way. The new humanity was emerging not as the galaxy's rulers, but as its eldest siblings. Their powers were formidable. The ability to shape matter, to heal, to see the quantum fabric of reality. But they were tempered by the hard-won wisdom of their genetic memory. In the decades that followed, the galaxy entered a new age. Human facilities, once hidden beneath the Earth, became centers of learning for all species. The knowledge of the first ones was shared not as doctrine, but as possibility, allowing each civilization to find its own path. The ancient network, built by humanity's ancestors, had served its purpose. It had preserved their knowledge until their descendants were wise enough to use it properly. Now it served a new purpose, not to awaken power, but to awaken understanding. Look, Mira pointed to new data streaming in. Across the galaxy, young civilizations were making breakthrough discoveries, achieving things that would have taken them centuries without gentle guidance. But crucially, they were making these discoveries themselves, with humans acting only as advisors when asked. The great ships of the Galactic Council gradually departed Earth's orbit, no longer needed as observers. Humanity had proven itself not by reclaiming its ancient power, but by choosing to use that power differently than their ancestors had. In the Mongolia facility, now a bustling center of interstellar cooperation, Sarah Chen looked out over the gathering of species, human and alien alike, all working together to understand the mysteries of the universe. Our ancestors chose to sleep so the galaxy could grow, she mused. We chose to wake gradually so we could grow with it. The ancient legacy of humanity had been fully revealed, but it wasn't the end of their story. It was just the beginning of a new chapter, one where the first ones didn't stand apart from the galaxy, but walked beside it, helping to guide all life toward a future they would shape together. The resurgence of humanity's true nature hadn't led to dominion or withdrawal, but to partnership, and in that choice, they had proven themselves truly worthy of their ancestors' legacy. The galaxy had feared the awakening of the elder species, only to discover that humanity had learned the greatest lesson of all. That true power lies not in dominion over others, but in helping them discover their own potential. And so the story of humanity continued, not as gods or rulers, but as guides and friends to all life in the galaxy, writing a new chapter in the cosmic dance of existence.